right there on the left.
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah, I see him. Yeah.
Put it in there right by him. There he is.
Hey, Chadwick, we thought there was no fish in here.
So it looks like it's 20-inch caliber.
Yeah.
Nice fish stuff. Yeah. We'll pull in right here and get him too.
Okay.
Come on, turn over.
That a boy? That's a nice fish.
Nice guy.
Now that is a nice fish. Now that is a nice fish.
That's what
That-
we're doing.
huh?
Throw that in there real quick.
That is a nice fish.
And look at the old boy, just lets him
Huh?
eat. Let him eat it, stuck him,
Yeah.
stabbed him. We get your dad's mug in here.
Perfect. Solid.
Beautiful
Okay?
boys.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It was different when I was younger. You know, there's a really famous guide out of the Keys named Steve Huff. He has a photographic memory. He used to guide Del Brown, the famous permit fisherman. And Steve Huff told another friend of mine, Kevin Guerin, who was a big Keys guide, when Kevin was cutting his teeth, he said, "Anybody who asks you where you're fishing deserves to be lied to." And that was the attitude that I cut my teeth in.
Yep.
You know, Bloom and those guys didn't just spill you info. You had to figure some shit out before they were gonna even give you a fucking crumb.
Ride 'em, cowboy.
We'll take one.
Yeah,
We gotta start somewhere.
You can't find a better summer job for a kid in college than to, you know, make $500 a day guiding. You know, I mean, it's a pretty good summer job. I didn't have a summer job like that. I had to go work road construction when I was in college.
Way to wait, Jimmy. That was awesome.
That was a great catch.
Nice. Just barely saw his nose come
Yeah,
out.
You know, I was beginning to think, Jason, I mean, how can fish not be at these banks? Right? I'm just like,
Right now.
geez.
They're
yeah,
there. They're
right,
just,
exactly.
I don't know if they're just eating so many nymphs right now. That fish
Exactly.
was full.
Right, exactly.
That fish had crinkly tummy. He's
right,
been eating.
exactly. Right. So I'm thinking the same thing. They're just chowing down lots of stuff that's way underneath.
Let's do this.
Yes.
Yes.
When I was still here, and this was 15 years ago, it was, you know, you'd make the transition from your hard boat in June to a raft, and not on the beaver so much, but it was on the big hole. I always had to go to a rubber and inflatable because you know, those big boulders and fiberglass, bing bang bang bing bang.
I should have went down the main wave. Sounds like a big ocean behind you.
Yeah.
Like waves breaking.
Watch this. Tom, watch.
Did Bloom ever tell you about the guy at Teton Valley used to take a clicker on
Hey,
the...
hey.
Well, there we
Hey,
go. Well, just shut the hell up and
Yeah,
let Jimmy
right.
fish.
Yeah, right.
Nice cast. Nice
You know, it
cast.
came out of there just like he's supposed to.
Attaboy, Jim. Nice little brown there.
Yeah, yes. Pretty fish. Yeah, he woofed it.
Here you go, Jim.
Hey.
Us guys won, them 0. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now it's time for some Sinatra. Skunk's out of the boat.
Yeah.
My grandpa and my dad always took me fishing when I was a kid. Dad was a fly fisher. Grandpa would throw spoons. Loved throwing a froggy daredevil. Mostly took me to Stillwater when I was a kid, so you have a little more success with fishing private stock ponds and stuff. Keep me a little more captivated. And then as I got older, he'd start taking me to the creeks around. So I started doing that. I'd say 70% of probably the new guides are kids that came out here on trips with their dads and fell in love with the place, and were like, after they got out of college, guides were influential in his life. And I think that a lot of us are, you know, that's kind of what you want to do when you're guiding, is put the hook in the kids so that mom and dad want to come back, right? You know, I always had a saying that was kind of odd being a kid born in October and your dad being a steelheader, because you always got really good gifts, but he was never around for your birthday. My dad was in BC steelhead most of the time when I was, he'd be gone for a couple weeks, then he'd come back, but he didn't miss many of my football games or anything like that. But he'd always tell me, son, you'll understand someday when you're my age. And I never thought I would. And then I got my first steelhead, and that was awesome. As the sport grows, everything gets more and more crowded, and as the internet goes alongside it, the secrets, like I said, when I was young, there was a lot of secrets. Shit, when I moved from here and moved back to the Missouri, the reason I left here was because it was too crowded and the Missouri wasn't. I think we're kind of at a teetering platform here where it's, it's kind of, we looked at it more as a job than I think these kids now look at it as a lifestyle. Right. It's kind of a fad, which you can't bitch that the sport's grown. We're a part of that. So we got to kind of be stewards of that.